Nobody has more fun than Blockbuster, so if you want great takeout without the calories, make it a Blockbuster night.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the biggest things associated with Generation X that have all but vanished from mainstream culture.
The Sony Walkman has forever changed the way the world listens to music.
Number 10. Hair metal. Gen Xers grew up with all kinds of music, from new wave to old school hip hop, but if there was one sound that's especially specific to that era, it's hair metal. Also known as glam metal, this was heavy metal with an emphasis on pop appeal and aesthetics, particularly in terms of fashions and grooming. Bands like Motley Crue, Poison, and Twisted Sister were anything but subtle, but their best songs were ones with hooks and riffs for days. As the 80s turned to the 90s, taste shifted from the Sunset Strip to Seattle with the rise of grunge. But even if hair metal never came back in full force, the affection for it among Gen Xers remains. Number 9. After-school specials. There's nothing quite like the Gen X experience of coming home from a long day of school, turning on ABC, and kicking back with a TV movie about trauma or other heavy topic.
I won't take the blame for your drinking anymore!
These after-school specials began in the early 70s and lasted until 1997. And if you're a Gen Xer, you'll likely remember them in all of their melodramatic glory.
Mom, I need a new microscope lens for biology. Mine's broken.
Borrow one from school.
I need it for tonight, for my homework, for tomorrow. I'm gonna fail, Mom. I can't believe this. Do you want me to fail biology?
Your microscope lens is fine. Your microscope is fine. You never unwrapped it. You just want to go out because you want the shoes, and I'm not going, so drop it.
However, while they might have seemed over the top, they did cover important issues like substance use disorder and racism.
So what do? How can you deal with it?
You just do. And no matter how tough it gets, you just have to. You don't have a choice.
And they also put future stars like Viggo Mortensen and Marissa Tomei on our radars.
I want to be a nursery school teacher.
Why would you limit yourself?
I knew you wouldn't understand.
Number 8. Pagers. Before smartphones and even before cell phones became commonplace, the best way to reach someone while out and about was with a pager.
Okay guys, here's how it looks for today.
Motorola has made it easier to stay directly in touch with those important to you.
Mom, we got a better idea. I've got to we'll page you.
These were devices, also known as beepers, that sent and received alerts.
You mind telling me where the hell you've been the last 12 hours? I've been paging you all night. We got a situation here that I think you need to know about.
Communications could be received via other pagers as well as landline phones. If you're a Gen Xer, you likely have memories of receiving a page and then finding a payphone, also widely available, to call the person trying to reach you.
Pull your back!
As cell phones grew in popularity, pagers' time in the spotlight inevitably faded. However, they're still widely used in essential professional fields such as healthcare and emergency services.
You paged?
Number 7. Gee, your hair smells terrific. Want to give a Gen Xer an instant nostalgia flashback? Just say these 5 words.
Gee, your hair smells terrific.
Gee, your hair smells terrific was a fragrance shampoo from the Andrew Jergens Company. And when we say fragrance, we mean it. Described as a blend of chamomile, bubblegum, and sage, it was an appealing scent that caught the nose of anyone in your radius.
Susie, I did not borrow your Gee, your hair smells terrific shampoo so Jimmy would notice how good my hair smells. Oh, no? I used it to get my hair really clean and shiny. Like yours. And that's the only reason. The only reason.
And they didn't forget the importance of visual appeal either. The colorful bottles made them stand out on store shelves. Though U.S. production of Gee, Your Hair Smells Terrific has ended, the formula has since been licensed to a corporation in the Philippines, where it continues to be made and sold.
I don't know any bathroom small talk.
Gee, your hair smells terrific.
You didn't socialize me properly.
Number 6. Making mixtapes. If you're a millennial or Gen Z, you probably know about making mixes in the sense of burning songs to a CD or creating a streaming playlist.
Start the music.
I see you, little mama, doing your thing, but you will look much better underneath my white.
Wrong playlist.
While those are each perfectly valid ways to compile your favorite songs, we urge you to pay your respects to your Gen X ancestors who would make mixtapes by recording songs on the radio to actual physical cassette tapes. And there was nothing worse than your favorite song coming on and not hitting the record button in time. You may also remember songs being interrupted by the DJ cutting in. While this was technically copyright infringement, can you blame us for wanting to hear a mix of our favorite songs whenever possible?
So I spent the entire night making an epic mixtape. It was the perfect blend of Chicago, R.E.M., INXS, and Weird Al. It was pure romance.
And that's our first official mixtape. I hope you like it as much as I like you.
Number 5. Atari. Years before the dawn of Nintendo, the brand most synonymous with video games was Atari.
Atari's ASCII. It comes with 27 games, but that's just for starters. You can get 9 cartridges, 187 games.
And if you're a Gen Xer, you likely logged countless hours playing games of Pong and Pac-Man on your Atari 2600 or at the local arcade.
Only Atari makes the Pac-Man home video game, and you can only play it on an Atari video game system.
Unfortunately, Atari's initial success was swiftly thwarted by shoddier competition flooding the marketplace, resulting in the video game crash of 1983.
Due to the crash, all of the consoles and games were marked down to bargain bin deals.
The infamously bad E.T. video game produced by the company was another massive blow to their reputation and future. Home gaming consoles did recover thanks to Nintendo a couple of years later, and while Atari does live on as a brand name, by the end of the 80s, it was effectively game over for them as any kind of industry leader.
It's definitely an Atari. And a whaty?
Number 4. Walkman. Listening to music on the go is nothing new these days, but for Gen Xers, it was something very special.
You really feel the music with a Sony Walkman?
The Sony Walkman is a tiny stereo cassette player with truly incredible sound.
The Sony Walkman, a portable cassette player, revolutionized how a generation consumed music.
Sony introduces the only cassette player as small as a cassette case.
Sure, having to rewind a tape with a pencil might be inconvenient compared to pulling up any song on your phone at a moment's notice, but it helped build character. The rise of the CD as the dominant musical format in the 90s was a major hit to the Walkman's relevance. However, Sony kept producing the cassette player until 2010, and game-changing devices like the iPod arguably wouldn't be possible without the Walkman paving the way.
The Sony Walkman. The world hasn't been the same since.
Number 3. Blockbuster. In the days before Netflix and chill, we had Blockbuster and hoped that the movie you wanted was still available.
Well, the perfect video store
Welcome to Blockbuster Video.
is popping up all over the country.
While they weren't the only video rental store around, they were the biggest. And if you're a Gen Xer, you might remember the layout of your local Blockbuster as well as you do your childhood home, if not better. And in those pre-DVD days, you needed to make sure to Be Kind Rewind. Though they enjoyed blockbuster fortunes past the new millennium, the rise of Netflix soon marked them as a brand behind the times, and in 2010, they filed for bankruptcy, with mass store closures beginning in 2014. One store, in Bend, Oregon, known colloquially as the last Blockbuster, remains.
The video store is a community hub like any other community hub, like a movie theater, like a rec center. It allows us to connect with each other. The video store is the place, but oftentimes it's just a conduit for us to have conversations with other humans. And that's really beautiful and something we'll never get with streaming.
Number 2. Classic MTV. If you were a teenager in the 80s or early 90s, one particular TV channel was much more than that. For countless Gen Xers, MTV in its prime was a statement.
I think in a few years, there's going to be no such thing as radio.
Whether introducing them to their new favorite artists via unforgettable music videos or holding mirrors up to society through cutting-edge shows like Beavis and Butthead and The Real World, MTV made every other station look all the stuffier.
I got slammed for being dirty, for picking my nose or whatever, they were just slamming me left and right.
But as the youngest members of Generation X started reaching adulthood, MTV lost much of its sense of danger, not to mention its connection to its original name, music television. However, there's no denying what an incredible impact it had on a generation and their perception of the world around them.
Nothing you say can upset us. We're the MTV generation.
We feel neither highs nor lows.
Really? What's it like?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Being offline. At the time, it may have seemed like Gen X was getting inundated with mass communication and losing touch on a more personal level.
Dee? Sup? Did you get your report card?
Yeah, I'm toast. How'd you do?
I totally choked. My father is gonna go ballistic on me.
Mr. Hall was way harsh.
He gave me a C-. Well, he gave me a C, which drags down my entire average.
But pagers and dial-up internet seemed rather quaint compared to the age of smartphones and social media.
One of its greatest achievements appears to be as an aid in scientific research. By tapping into internet, a scientist can share knowledge with another scientist at lightning speed.
And so, experiences like concerts didn't have thousands of people pulling out their phones to capture videos of their favorite artists to post on TikTok. Most of all, Gen X could log off in a way that's still possible today, but much more difficult to accomplish, given how normalized constant communication has become. No matter when you were born, you can still embrace your inner Gen Xer by leaving your iPhone at home and exploring the world around you through fresh eyes.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
What's your favorite memory of growing up Gen X? Let us know in the comments.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.